Well, I'd usually say another day strikes. Let's get this work. We have no time to waste. Let's go. Although I do agree with that, there's also something else that I'd like to add. Improving my mental strength is the way. Every single day, this is something that need be done. And this is something that I'm doing by working towards achieving a 3-minute plank and pushing through mental barriers in the gym. Along with that, it's also up to me to work towards pushing through any mental barriers that I may experience when going through every other thing that I set myself that isn't plank journey related, such as creating the ebook, being on my way to get sales from making Amazon KDP journals, and anything like that. If there's anything that comes up, it's up to me to also push past those mental barriers, and from there, my life will be able to transform in obvious and extreme amounts in every way. And on that note, on with the video.
I have quite a few things to talk about in the video. In this video, I've had some thoughts about how this morning's gone so far. It's 8:30 in the morning right now as I'm making this voiceover, and I think, again, there are quite a few things to talk about, starting off with my experiences of waking up in the morning. This has been so important to me that I've made notes on it on the paper, and it just couldn't wait. So now's the time, or I've decided that now's the time rather. I've stayed in bed for so long that both sides of my waist started to hurt. But it's no longer an issue now because I've just gone to the toilet and sat down on the seat, and that pain has gone away. But it has shown me something. And when I say show me something, I mean taught me a lesson. Whenever this happens, it means, as far as I'm aware anyway, that I'm just in the bed for way too long. And I know that I can improve on my evening and morning routine. The next voiceover you're going to hear is going to sound much higher it's going to be a much higher audio quality, because I'm going to get some fruits and then do a tiny bit of exercise and then film the rest of the voiceovers in the car, so that I'm actually doing what it takes to change how I'd usually go about the days, because I want to improve in terms of how I use my time.
I've now finished the session, and I really want to talk about how my elbow plank went, and I will do in this video, but I just won't right now because I want to finish up speaking about routine and that sort of thing. So I'll do that first, and then pardon me. Right, there you go, it's fully out now. So I'll talk about that first, and then when I say that, I mean the routine, and then I'll get into talking about how the planks went, because that's the main event of this training session today. I think I mentioned earlier in this video that both sides of my waist were hurting me when I was in bed this morning, and this just made me think that when it comes to the evening and morning routine, at this point in time, I could have been allowing myself to be what I call drowning in short-term comfort. And the reason why I picked drowning is because the short-term comfort, I am indulging in short-term comfort for the past, let's try that again. I have been for the past few days, or maybe even couple of days, I've been overindulging in short-term comfort so much that I'm actually experiencing short-term pain in the now. The pain is gone, but I mean short-term when I say in the now. as I said, my waist were hurting me because I was staying in bed for way too long. So obviously things need to change, and I'm doing that every single day. Remember the Think and Grow Rich saying, every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better, even if that means in small increments. And that may sometimes mean in large increments as well. But when it comes to my results over the year's worth of time, I'm going to be doing what's been known as monk mode, or what's been called as monk mode. I'm going to expect my results to be very similar to a YouTube analytics graph when it comes to impressions, for example, or just anything YouTube analytics related. You'll have a better understanding of this if you're a creator yourself, or you go back and watch previous videos of mine. One video that I'd give as an example is the previous one, in which I talk about the analytics both before and after the Plank Day 85 Notice 6 blew up in views. Alright, so let's talk about this routine. As I was saying, I was just in bed for way too long. Even though I think I got in bed at around 9 or 10 or so. But even from that, I could certainly make improvements on. Talking about it does help. It absolutely does help. So my thoughts are very clear in my mind when I go about the rest of my day. This really helps, and I know for sure that what I'd rather do is come off the screens at maybe around 7 in the evening or so, and that'll give me 1 hour before going to bed at 8, and then from there, because I wouldn't have been on the screens for an hour before 8 in the morning, not in the morning, in the evening, I'd have more than enough time to reset from blue light and get not only an early night's rest, but I'd also be able to wake up and get up very early in the morning. And if I don't, after doing all of those things in the evening, then that means I oversleep, and I could be in a position where I've been in this morning, in which I am feeling pain in my waist. There are absolutely problems when you're experiencing short-term pain. So much, you're overindulging in short-term comfort, so much to the point that you're experiencing physical pain. That's a sign to really recalibrate and change what you're doing. Even if it's to something that you think will work but haven't necessarily tried out, do it. Because that means that you're trying out something different. And even if that doesn't work, you're further on the way to something that does, rather than doing nothing about it. And rather than not doing anything to improve your situation. Going off topic, one thing I've realised now is, that was absolutely perfect timing. One thing I've realised now is that I'm certainly not necessarily less hesitant to drink water, but I don't take, drinking water takes higher priority than anything else. Drinking water and survival needs, like eating, sleeping a healthy amount and not overdoing it, those sorts of things, they take priority now over anything else. And I've made that very clear in my mind after even slightly developing my core pillars idea. Oh. 750 millilitres down the hatch. Speaking of, I'm going to practice what I preach and quickly fill up my water bottle before coming back to do this voiceover. I've just come back from having a drink and filling up my water bottle, and rather ironically, just after filming the previous voiceover, I was actually contemplating as to whether I was doing this, whether I was actually gonna do that. The reason why at first I was thinking of actually not following through with my word is because, quote unquote, I didn't want to lose flow. But in the end, I decided that I actually am going to follow through with my word. I have done, and that was certainly the healthier option for me, because not only have I followed through with my values, I don't feel dehydrated, and not only that, but I haven't lost flow as I thought I would, as I feared I would, or whatever. I did something else, so I have the topics I want to speak about in my pad, as usual, and I numbered them in the order that I wanted to speak about. Now, not only have I come back to the car feeling hydrated, but I've also been able to make it extremely easy for myself to be able to start where I've left off. So I was speaking about routines. I am going to speak about that in the next couple of minutes, or maybe a minute or so, but there is another thing that I want to mention that is actually, in fact, routine related, and that is doing videos earlier. That's what I'm doing today, and I'd usually finish filming videos around 12 to 1, and then from there I would be waiting for the video to upload from around 1 to 4, and I'd have lunch at around this time, as I wouldn't have anything beforehand. So this is actually the perfect time to talk about how my day goes, or how my days recently have gone anyway. So usually from around, I'd say, 6 to 8 in the morning, I would be in bed, being on my way to oversleeping, and then from 8 to 10 I'd be going back into bed, doing more oversleeping, and then from there at around 10 to 1 I'm getting ready, having a shower, putting on some clothes, and then going to do the plank journey episode. And from 10 to 1 I would have done all of that completely. Even if it's a long one, for example, even if it's a movie's length of time, I would have been able to do it within those 3 hours. From a producer standpoint, I can now realise how long these videos of similar time lengths can take, especially if they're much higher production value, I think it's called. If it takes a long time to do very high quality edits and you have to go and get your research and all of that. For me, it could take around 3 hours, but for someone that's creating a real in-depth, aesthetically pleasing and valuable movie, something of which that you could actually apply in your real life, like Josh Brett, for example, he may not do those lengths, but his editing skills, if they are his and not an editor of his, they're absolutely insane. And I could only imagine how long they take to be able to create. He may, if I'm not mistaken, he's a university student as well. I may be wrong on that. I'm not saying that for certain. So I could imagine he's doing that, and also he's doing these videos as well. All the power to him for making such videos. For instance, how being quote unquote healthy ruined my life. He has some books there which actually, he has some books which he's recommended on there. He recommended at least one, which I'm interested in investing in. One's about orthorexia and one's about nutrition. And seeing as I want to learn about fitness, just general life, fitness, eating healthily, nutrition, hydration, and how these things can affect you, and also other aspects of life. That would be an absolutely amazing place to start off with. Learning about making money and budgeting finances as well is also an amazing place to start off with. And all of these things I can learn from Skillshare. I have actually I've got an account, and I've paid for a 1 year subscription. I paid the 1 year subscription fee, which is around 72 quid. I've done it, and now I have less than a year's worth. I've set aside less than a year's worth of time to be able to use Skillshare, and I can just get an automatic renewal, so I can carry on learning. Although everything you'd want to learn about is free, having to invest in what you learn holds more value to it, because you wouldn't want to waste money that you spent on something that you believe would be valuable to you, or at least I don't. But when it's just time, even though time is something you can't get back, but money is, if you don't think about it in this way, then it's like, oh, you know what, this is free, like, what the hell. I don't have to do this. I can't be bothered. Even though you may not think that consciously, or even though I may not think that consciously, that could be what's going through our heads subconsciously when it comes to quote unquote investing in something that's free, or learning something that doesn't cost any money. Everything costs time though. But anyway, yes, going back to it, as a part of the routine, I think doing vids earlier is got to be something that really helps me, and that's what I've done, or that's what I am doing, I should say, today. Instead of filming at around 10 to 12, I've now actually started before 10 o'clock. So now I've set aside a lot more time in the day to be able to not only get this log done, but to also do other things that I've set myself, like just very generally speaking, like making money, like making some more ideas for journals, further writing up the ebook that I've thought of making, applying for work, and so on. I could do these things. Also, I've set aside more time to practice gratitude as well, and I've set aside some time to read. I'm actually going to contradict what I've said in a previous video about monk mode. I said I didn't want to watch videos at all, and I would say no, I absolutely have gone against that, with the mindset of, if I'm making improvements, that's more than okay. And I was looking at a Hamza video, and he said, and the title was 1 hour of quote unquote, no, not quote unquote, asterisks. This can change your life, and this is reading. I didn't actually watch the video, but I just went through the description. It said, oh yeah, it's reading. So I'm going to, and even talking about it means that I'm on my way to actually taking that advice. I'm reading in a way that gets the main message out of the way first, and then I learn everything around it second. And the way how I'm doing this is reading chapters, like from Think and Grow Rich, for example, back to front. So I'd read the last paragraph first, and then I go in reverse. I keep on reading the paragraphs before that and before that. It seems to me, with that in mind, that authors get the main topic, the very main core nugget of what they actually want to say written down at the end of these chapters rather than at the start. Personally, when it comes to writing a book, I'd rather do it the other way around. But I can understand why authors do it that way. So you could go, maybe so that you can go through their way of thinking and how they ended up to the conclusion instead of having the conclusion first and then building up from there. All right. I'd say though, personally at this point in time, as I'm writing my ebook, that I ideally don't want to waste my time or other people's time. So I ideally would want to flip the script and actually get the main nugget of wisdom or the main life lesson that I want to get across down first and then build up around it. But I can understand why authors do it the other way around. It may help with retention as well, for example. I think I've digressed again. Yeah, doing oh my gosh, man. There is so much to talk about every single day. Even if they're not 1.5 hour videos, there's so much to talk about. Doing videos earlier means I've set aside more time to do what I truthfully want to do that isn't the plank journey. I want to do I really like making these videos, yeah, but this isn't the only thing I want to be doing. For example, if I'm thinking of this as an income source, I certainly am not going to I'm not putting myself in a position where I only have one income source. I'm putting myself in a position where I have multiple, like the ebook, which I'll eventually turn into books, the Amazon KDP journals, which I could do, and also do Amazon FBA if I do the research, do some modeling as well, which would be all the more a reason why I should stay in shape. Oh, pardon me. These plank journey videos, selling courses on how you can transform your life and also how you can transform your body. That there are all of these income sources that I've just been able to think of, and that I have been thinking of for a while, that I do rather than just having one income source. Because having one income source means that you're dependent on that income source, because that's the only one you have, and without that you can't live or survive. Especially if you're living by yourself, you can't live or survive without having one income source. However, I would say that if you're in a predicament like me, in which you put yourself in a position where you're not earning now, but you're doing what it takes by transforming your life every single day, you're going to be earning mega bucks, and you're going to be earning from multiple income streams. And mate, you're going to see me do it every single day. You're going to see this further happen every single day, and every single day, bit by bit and piece by piece, the story gets further unraveled. Every day, bit by bit, piece by piece, story gets further unraveled, and you see me become better as a person. You see me level up. You see me improve as a person in every aspect of my life. Remember the saying: every day, in every way, I get better and better, and I genuinely believe that that's what I'm doing. For example, I don't think I've actually spoken about this in a plank journey log because it happened yesterday from my memory, but now is absolutely the perfect time to speak about this. I really believe that I'm getting better every day in every way, even if it's in small increments, because I'm going through experiences that prove this to me. For example, I had a cold shower yesterday, and instead of cupping the water from the shower that came from the shower head onto my hand to then splash onto my stomach and my back, I just went straight for it and let the water from the shower head hit my stomach and hit my back. And that takes a lot more mental strength than cupping the water from the shower head and then splashing it onto my back and stomach. or just front torso. That takes a lot more mental strength, and that just made me believe that I am a stronger person. Maybe, certainly mentally, but maybe also physically as well. And that leads me on to speaking about the planks. Today's plank. So one of the aims that I set myself that I want to achieve is to be able to do a 3-minute plank by the 30th of April. And now that I think about it, now that I'm saying this, I'd also like to add other eligibility criteria for this quote-unquote goal to be completed. It needs to be done unbroken, obviously, with proper form. It needs to be done with proper form. It can't be done with poor form. For example, my ass is too high or it's too low down. That will not count. If it's a 3-minute plank and I do either one of those things or both, have my ass too high or ass too low, that is not going to count. So it needs to be done with proper form, because that means that my core strength is improving. And in fact, the main reason why I actually want to be able to do the 3-minute plank now from today's session is as proof that I've improved mentally and that I've become mentally stronger. And maybe from now on, that's the mindset that I'll want to take from doing physical exercise. I'll do it instead of for just transforming my body. I'm going to now do this so I can transform my mind. If you have a weak mind, you're not going to have a strong body. They just don't add up. There's going to be something lacking if you have a strong mind. But if you don't have a strong mind, but if you do have a strong mind and things are lacking, that will change. Sooner or later, that will change. It will only be a matter of time. But yeah, I want to do the 3-minute plank and also longer planks because I want to improve my mental strength. And that is something that I've experienced today. I knew I had, physically speaking, I had a lot more in my tank. I absolutely had a lot more in my tank, and you could tell that I had a lot more in my tank by how I dropped down to the floor. It was immediate, but I knew I had a lot more energy in me physically, and I had a lot more strength in me physically to be able to do that. But going for slightly over a minute was where I allowed my mental strength to end. So I think from now on, I'm always going to have to do long planks. And it's actually reminded me of an Ice Cold LCB comment. He asked me, why is it that I pick planks out of all of the exercises? And I gave a different answer to the one that I gave now, but upon reflection after creating that comment, I have the answer that is completely 100% truthful. Don't get me wrong, I certainly didn't intend to lie to him, and that's not what I'm saying, but that was the answer I gave him without thinking about it deeply. So let's actually give the answer that I really believe is 100% the actual truth. Even though, again, I didn't intend to lie to him then, but I think I didn't tell the whole story without even realizing it. So let's talk. The reason why I wanted to do this, why I wanted to do the planks from the start, is because in the customer service role that I was in, I had thoughts of achieving the world record plank, and then from there, I'd advertise my this YouTube channel from doing the world record planks, and then from there, you'll see all of the daily videos and all of the effort that I've had to put in and everything I've had to do to be able to get to achieving the world record plank. And going off that again, I wanted to also do it because I want to show people that anything you set your mind to is possible. And you can see that I started from a very humble place of not even having a day 1 or 2 to show, but starting from three sets of 45 seconds from my memory. And now it's fairly easy physically to do a 1 minute plank. My body can take it. My body's a soldier, and day by day, piece by piece, the puzzle gets unraveled and we grow and we improve. And that's how I want to improve. Especially mentally, because having that mental strength to be able to do 3-minute planks is something that I can not only build off, but it would be an obvious sign that I've improved mentally. Because it takes a lot of mental strength to be able to do that, which is something that I've experienced today. With that being said, I think it's only right that I put the thumbnail which I've picked of me planking for today's thumbnail instead of me where I put my thumbs up both times. That's why I was doing that, by the way. I put my thumbs up at least twice during the footage to be able to get a thumbnail. But I've decided, no, I'm going to do this plank one. Not only because I've spoken about it, but because I just on impulse picked that as one of my 3 options to be able to choose from. But okay. Alright, so I was talking about routine, but I'm going to go over it again because I have some extra things I want to add because I don't remember speaking about everything, which I wanted to. So let's talk about the old routine again. What I've realised I've done, what I've realised I've been doing for the past few days is that from around 6 to 8, I may be sleeping. I may be oversleeping. And then from 8 to 10 in the morning, I certainly am. And then around 10 o'clock, I get up. And from 10 to 1, I'm getting ready. And I've filmed this plank journey log. And then from there, around 1 to 4, I've had my first meal for the day. And I've watched the video go through its entire uploading process. I know that I've done this in the past because I did this yesterday, for example. I believe that I would much rather just let the video go through its uploading process in the background as I do something else. Because I think not doing so and doing otherwise means that I'm allowing myself to invest in this journey to an unhealthy amount. I don't long term and after I've done it like watching the video go through its uploading process, because that then means I have less time set aside to be able to do the other things that I truthfully want to do, like writing that ebook, making Amazon KDP ideas so that I can actually get some sales, making money in other ways, like for example maybe doing modeling or making some more ideas as to how I can make money from the plank journey through courses, for example, and even through the actual channel itself. I absolutely love this, and I'm doing what it takes every single day, bit by bit, piece by piece, and by getting better, even if it's in small increments. And even if I decline in small increments, overall I'm getting better as the months pass, and as the weeks and the months pass, and as the years pass, I'm getting better. And because I have such a deep ingrained passion or enthusiasm for this, because it allows me to work through anything that I want to work through, like fears or dark thoughts or how I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. I have a love for this, and I want to carry on. I want to carry on doing it, and it'd be so amazing to be able to make money doing what I love. And I feel very grateful that, even though granted I could have done this earlier, I could have done this at a younger age. Yes, I absolutely could have. But I've still found it at basically at a really, really young age, I'd say. When it comes to my real life age, when I started doing this self-improvement thing, I'd say I'm about 2 years and getting on to 2 years and 4 months old. I'll be 2 years and 4 months old in terms of my real world age, starting from April, seeing as I believed I was born on December 2019. Not literally, but I mean in terms of starting this journey in which I transform my life, and not only that, live a life that I'd consider more than ideal and that exceeds my expectations at this point in time. Something that a life I'm living and a lifestyle I'm living that exceeds my current expectations. And hence, because of this, I'd say my real world age is 2 years and 4 months, or getting on to 2 years and 4 months old. And as a part of this, I'm completely transforming as a person. And not only am I going to see it, everyone around me eventually will see it. The results will become obvious. And you guys who are watching, who are a part of this self-improvement community with me, you're also going to see this as well. And speaking about improvements that I want to make, I really enjoyed getting up earlier in the morning than I have done in the past. I got up at around 8:10 this morning, and then I went back to bed to write some further thoughts down, but it was just too much. I overdid it, and because I went back into bed, both sides of my waist started hurting. So instead of writing thoughts down on the bed, I can write thoughts down on the chair and the table. So that's what I'll do. That's what I'm going to start doing from now on. Starting from now, that's what I'll do instead. And speaking about waking up earlier than I usually would, or getting up earlier than I usually would, I really enjoyed waking up to the sounds of peace and not hearing the news talk about war or fear or any other sort of fear-mongering it's doing. And I didn't hear my parents complain or sound aggravated at each other for at least a short while. I mean, slightly aggravated. With the way how I've spoken about my parents in the past, I think that they're quote unquote bad. They absolutely aren't. They have done a lot for me. They are the people that raised me. Maybe not in the way that was completely ideal, but no one's perfect, not even me. And I know that they've done a lot for me. They've allowed me to go to school. They have and are giving me a place, giving me shelter for me to be able to get on my feet and move into a place that eventually will be my own, via me being the landlord instead of just a tenant. So my parents, they absolutely have done a lot for me, and I want to just make that very clear, because I remember saying, for example, that my mum is, in my opinion, when it comes to how she perceives things, is short-sighted. Because I said because she thinks she's not seeing because she believes she's not seeing anything, I am doing absolutely nothing, and I know that that's not the case. Although I understand that, I do also understand that they have done a lot for me, like giving me a place to live. As every single day, bit by bit and piece by piece, becoming more self-reliant. And it all has already started, but it carries on here. It carries on through this plank journey, seeing as the plank journey logs is something that I'm using predominantly to transform my life every single day. And because of that, I can't miss a day. I've set myself in a place where I make videos every single day, and I can't miss a day. it doesn't make sense for me to miss a day, because in my head I'm thinking, who in their right mind would want to say, oh, I forgot to transform my life today? That just doesn't sound like someone that actually is about really wanting to live an ideal life. It doesn't sound like someone who wants to live an ideal life would say. So these videos have got to carry on. And even before that mindset, I thought I need to carry on my streak. Not only that, but I need my mental release fix. I absolutely need this. This has allowed me to work through years worth of anger, hatred, and resentment towards my family, and I've been able to completely let go of it. And now, actually, that reminds me, I've also got away from reading the Think and Grow Rich book that allows me to automatically deflect negative influences, and just very simply, it's just saying back to sender. If there's any complaint that I hear that my parents make, or that I hear from the news or anything like that, straight back to sender. That's what I say in my mind, and saying that allows me to just immediately deflect any negative influences, instead of me actually thinking it through and therefore stooping to their level of negativity. I've had some thoughts, and I decided that today is the video that I need to further establish some more plans that are going to act out starting from today. Oh, pardon me. I think I drank a bit too much water. Slightly too much. But anyway, yeah. I've decided that today is the day, after some thought, that I want to make some more plans of what I've already been doing and what I already consider is ideal, in order for me to be able to stick to a new routine. That means that therefore allows me to not stay in bed for way too long or wake up late. I ideally would much rather wake up from anywhere from 4 to 6 in the morning. So I not only have set aside a lot of time to be able to do what I want to do, like the plank journey, other fun things that pay me, socializing and that, but I also have quite a lot of time. I've set aside quite a lot of time off the screens, and also have instilled a healthy sleeping routine as well, through having a healthy evening routine and a morning routine, which then just builds up and builds up and builds up. They just set every single hour of the day in a healthy way. The first thing, or idea I should say, that I have in order for me to switch from less helpful routines to more helpful and efficient ones is to come off the screens at 7, be in bed by 8, and when I wake up in the morning, get up and stay up. If there are any ideas that I want to write down, then I can do that sat down on the chair instead of laying down. That's it. There are a few things, but day by day, piece by piece, we work it out and we figure it out. And eventually, because of all of our efforts, something will stick. And day by day, piece by piece, I'm getting better in every way, and this is a part of it. Making plans to be able to follow. So that's what I'm going to do today. And because I've allowed myself to think about this through these videos, I can now function in a much healthier way and do what I actually want to do outside of this much more efficiently. Alright, so those are my ideas to be able to move on from this old routine, in which doesn't serve me as much as this routine that I've just given will do. I want to do this, especially wake up and stay up early in the morning, because not only does that mean I've set aside a lot more time to be able to do what I truthfully want to do, like the plank journey, do fun things that pay me and all of that. It also means that I experience a lot more peace in the morning. There's a lot more peace because I'd be the only one that's awake. I'd be the only one that's refreshed early in the morning to do what I truthfully want to do every single day, with this being a part of it, this being the plank journey logs and any other serious talk that I have within this series. You'd think with all of these serious talks that it's not really about planking at all. The channel, of course, is called A Planking Journey, but it isn't really. It's not really that. It's a life transformation journey, and every single day I'm working towards it. And in my opinion, because I do that, whereas many others on YouTube don't, I'm going to be able to live the life I truthfully want to live. Perhaps even quicker than other people would. Not because I'm better than everyone else. It's not that at all. But instead because I'm making transforming my life, the art of transforming my life, a daily event. Every single day, bit by bit and piece by piece, I'm making the art of transforming my life. I'm making it something that I do every day. And because I've done that, it's constantly on the mind. And therefore, I act accordingly to be able to transform my life. And I'm so deep invested into this now that I'm actually starting to have dreams about the YouTube channel and being told about how I could improve the content, or the fact that other people who aren't me are commenting on the channel saying that he can improve on the content, in that he's getting better, and that sort of thing. I'm so deep invested in this journey. I've had a dream about it. Literally, I'm not even speaking metaphorically here. I've literally have had a dream about it, and that absolutely doesn't stop me from having dreams about it in the future. I'm that deep invested into this transformation journey, and I think because of that, I actually am going to be able to transform my life completely. All right, now I've spoken about the routine completely. Oh, actually, no, there's one more thing I want to add. I'm expecting change to be like a YouTube analytics graph. It will go up sometimes, it will go down, but the only thing that really matters is the fact that overall it's going up. I apologise for the audio quality changing. What's happened is I've started the car. My dad heard the key in the ignition beeping or making sounds, and he said to start the car. So I've started the car with the mindset of, you don't want the battery to die, as he said, and I know it's happened in the past. So I don't believe at all that he's just chatting rubbish, because I know from personal experience that has happened. The battery has died without starting the car quite a lot. So it's only going to be like this for a few minutes. I do apologise, but even though that's the case, we keep moving, we keep improving. This audio quality certainly will improve, that's for sure. I'm going to turn the car off in a few minutes. Going back to expecting gradual changes, I meant expecting gradual changes over the span of weeks and months, especially months. That's when things start to significantly change, and that's something that I've experienced. I was going to say experience from personal experience, but yeah, that's obvious. That's something that I've noticed from personal experience. That's what I was trying to say. I've noticed this through the YouTube analytics, specifically through the impressions graph. I've noticed that gradual changes happen, and absolutely massive changes can happen through the view count and returning viewers and new viewers over the span of months. And from personal experience, I should therefore expect something similar to happen with transforming my life. Sometimes it may go up, may go down very slightly, but if it's going up overall over the span of months, then that's more than fine, because growth isn't linear. It doesn't just go straight up. That's not how it happens. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down. Sometimes it may seem like it surges down, and then sometimes it may seem like it surges up, but the fact that you're on the journey and that you're improving overall over the span of months and also years, if you want to think about it from a more long-term perspective, is truthfully, in my opinion, what matters, and a much more healthy way to measure progress, instead of trying to become world-class within the span of days or weeks, or trying to get that absolutely insane looking shredded physique within the span of 30 days, as they all say, through the as they all say, no, through as many YouTube channels have tried to make it seem like that's possible. It's just not. Some certain YouTube channels, I can't think of any in particular, they really can be, actually no, I have thought of one in particular. They really can deceive, or try and deceive people when it comes to the transformation journey. I remember, for example, there's one female YouTuber I've mentioned and that I'm thinking of, who in one of her photos on the left, her stomach was relaxed, and then in another photo on the right, her stomach was sucked in. Oh, I did this for 30 days and now these are my results. But her stomach was relaxed on the photo on the left, and her stomach was sucked in on the photo on the right. Do I want to say this person's name? Honestly, I usually advocate speaking about things freely. Do I want to say it? You know what? I think, man, I'm experiencing short-term discomfort, you know. I think overall, her videos are more than alright. But that one in particular, I didn't like the thumbnail of. I think I'll say it with that sort of mindset in mind. I just want to make that very clear. I'm talking about Kelty O'Connor. It's just that thumbnail in particular that I really didn't like. In my opinion, I think it's rather deceptive, because on the photo on the left, her stomach's relaxed, but on the photo on the right, her stomach's sucked in. It's a I did this for 30 days sort of video. But again, I don't think she's a quote-unquote bad YouTuber or anything like that. Not at all. And I, in fact, applaud and praise her for talking about her suicide attempt. There you go, car turned off. With that in mind, I'm not quote-unquote calling her out or any BS like that, but I do think that that very specific thumbnail was rather deceptive because of what I said earlier. But again, I'm not calling her out or in any way like that. But I just didn't like that thumbnail in particular. And over here, I advocate for speaking about things freely, even though you may experience short-term discomfort, as I did then. And again, I'm not saying that to put her in a poor light, but it's, in my opinion, fact. That's what I've seen. But again, I applaud and praise her for talking about her suicide, making a video on her suicide attempt. There probably aren't many people that can do that. There probably aren't many people that can talk about such dark thoughts and giving people a way to be able to work through it. And for that, I applaud her. And that positive aspect of her channel far outweighs that one thumbnail. I mean, come on, it's just one time. It's just one time, and it's just one thumbnail. So with that in mind, with the impact that she's been able to have within the YouTube community, I'd say that I actually did like her content back when I watched it. I don't want to watch YouTube content anymore. I just want to upload and then do what I have to do for the rest of the day. But with that in mind, as I was saying, her giving a means for people to be able to work through dark thoughts and suicide absolutely far outweighs a deceptive thumbnail. It far outweighs that. And with that in mind, I'd actually say she's a absolutely very useful piece in the puzzle of this YouTube scene, I'd say, when it comes to fitness and things like that. Anybody who openly is able to talk about their suicide attempt and therefore be able to use that as a means to be able to help people and give other people a way to be able to work through their dark thoughts far outweighs a thumbnail. Far outweighs that. So I'd actually like to say shout out to her for doing that. That's an absolutely amazing act of courage, you could call it, maybe. I don't know if it's courage, but anyway, absolutely well done to her. She's making such a positive impact within the scene through videos like that, and being able to actually talk about such things that she holds so deeply to us, that I think anyway that she would hold so deeply to her. So just keep that in mind. I absolutely am not calling her out. I absolutely am not trying to make her seem like she's a quote unquote bad YouTuber or anything like that. I just want to make that clear. But anyway, now with that in mind, shout out to her, especially for talking about a suicide attempt on a video. That takes balls. Even though she's a woman, that takes balls. Anyway, let's talk about something else. So I'm going to move on to a different topic now. I have some thoughts about making a gym routine. I've done this I've done this quite a few times in the recent past, a few weeks ago and maybe like a month ago or so, but I need to do it again. Just something extremely basic, 3 times a week, so that I actually work a sweat when I train and I therefore actually grow. And I think from now on, I'm not only going to work on the physical aspect of training, but I'm going to work on the mental aspect of training, so I can become mentally stronger as a person and let that improved mental strength seep into every other area of my life. So I therefore just improve in every other aspect of my life. So I'm going to make a gym routine with the aim of mentally pushing past limits that I've set myself, and also growing physically, which leads me on to talking about my triceps and filling out my t-shirt. I can obviously see that I've made progress in my bicep size in both my left and right bicep, but my arms are still looking fairly flat. And the reason why I think this is because my triceps are flat. They are dead flat, absolutely flat. And it now makes sense to me as to why my t-shirt sleeves don't fit tightly at the bottom, but they fit more tightly at around the top where my biceps are. It's because my triceps are much smaller maybe not in length, but in size. They don't pop out as much as my biceps do at the moment, but I want to make a gym routine so that it does. And the way how that's going to be able to actually work and transform the size of my triceps, and also just my body in general, by gaining muscle mass, is by working up a sweat in the gym and also pushing past mental barriers. From now on, that is the main aim I'm going to have in my gym routine, to be able to push through mental barriers so I can improve my mental strength. It seems like I'm going to use exercise to be able to do that from now on. And I'm now also going to I have been allowing myself to work through things that I actually truthfully want to work through. And I'm now being able to allow myself to speak freely or whatever I want to speak on. Even though it means at times, just like I was speaking about Kelty O'Connor, that I did experience short-term discomfort there, because when saying that, I absolutely don't. My intentions aren't to put her in a bad light. They aren't at all. But again, it's my opinion, and I do think that that thumbnail was deceptive. Even though I don't want to put her in a bad light, that's just my opinion at the end of the day. And her talking about her suicide attempt, and therefore giving a means for people to actually work through dark thoughts, far outweighs that any sort of that rubbish. But anyway, man, let's go back to my triceps. Let's go back to talking about my tricep size. It's now time to really work on mental strength. It absolutely is. Working through mental strength by doing a 3-minute plank, achieving a 3-minute plank, and then from there making it longer. Building up my entire body really in muscle by gaining muscle mass. And the only way I'm going to be able to do that is by pushing through mental barriers. Pushing through mental barriers is what's going to, in my opinion, be one of the main things that allow me to transform my life completely. To be able to show myself and prove to myself that I can achieve anything that I set my mind to. And therefore prove to myself that I'm becoming stronger, piece by piece, bit by bit, and day by day. And I'm getting better in every way. So I'm really going to work on mental strength, which physical exercise is allowing me to do. All right, now speaking about improvements in mental strength, improving my focus is something that I'd like to do as well. And going to the gym is genuinely could be something that allows me to do that, and just exercising in general. But more specifically, I want to improve my focus on what I do every single day and what I set myself every day, and just following through with healthier mental habits. But it seems like the answer to all of that is to be able to is to push through mental barriers in the gym, and also to read, to learn, and to actually do as I set myself. It seems like that's it. That's all it takes. And eventually, like I've written here, that will allow me to achieve in large amounts, large, undeniable, and obvious amounts. You'll see it. You'll see it in my exercise and how I think. You'll see it major improvements. You absolutely will. I will, and the people I know around me personally will. And I'm only just going to keep on improving and improving and improving and improving. But that's the end of that topic. It's actually fairly short. I didn't actually expect it to be that short, but that's all I have for now. And I'm going to wrap it up with one more topic. You want to know how to find your own voice? Well, let me tell you what's worked for me. Evening routine, that's it, done. It really is that simple, you know. Having no screens from 1 hour before you want to go to bed. And that's not fall asleep, but go into bed and then be on the way to falling asleep. Having no screens in the room that you'd use. Yeah. That will allow you to be able to find your own voice, on the premise that you not only do that, but you stimulate your mind in a healthy way by writing down the thoughts that you have to paper or to pad. That's it. It's that simple. And if you keep on doing that every single day, you absolutely will find your own voice. Trust me. That's what I've been able to do. And there's one more thing that I'd add in order to find your own voice, and that would be to make videos like mine. Have some form of outlet to be able to release your thoughts, not only on paper, but in audio. That is going to allow you to articulate your voice. It's going to allow you to articulate yourself more than you ever have been able to do. And your abilities to articulate yourself and speak more fluently and allow your message to get across to other people more clearly will improve every single day. And my proof of this, for me personally, from an anecdotal perspective, is for you to go and listen to me on day 4, the first day that I actually spoke, because day 1, my day 2 footage was on another account which I posted onto YouTube, but the YouTube got terminated because I somehow violated Google's terms of policy. I have no idea how, because it was just a video. I didn't even speak about anything. It was just me exercising, and I deleted the account because they tried to get me to explain why I think I should have my account. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to start again. I'm just going to start fresh. So I have my day 3 footage, and I have the first day that I ever spoke was day 4. So I'd advise you to go and check that out, and then keep on comparing me to my day 4 to now, whenever now is. And you'll see absolutely massive improvements in my ability to be able to articulate myself. That's my proof that what I've just advised you guys to do there works. But anyway, that's it. That's the end of the video. There's absolutely a lot to talk about, and I have at least 2... I have around another 4.5 pieces of A5 paper that I want to speak about, but I'm going to leave it here for now. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something valuable from it, and I'll see you in the next one. And before I end the video, again, with the Kelty thing, I absolutely do not want to put her in a bad light by saying that thumbnail was, in my opinion, deceptive, because she had her stomach relaxed in one video in one photo on the left, and having her stomach sucked in for one video on the right. I just think it really actually highlights a more unhealthy message. Not that she's providing, not that she as an individual is providing through those videos, but that society is providing through videos. So it's actually made me think, speaking about that, it's actually made me think about something, a deeper issue. I think now that I think about it, it's not that thumbnail that's the deeper issue. It's not that thumbnail. It's the idea that society is trying to bring on to people, that you can completely transform your body in 30 days. Holy shit. Imagine if I didn't say her name, I wouldn't have come to this conclusion. Imagine if I didn't. It's not even her that's the issue. It's not her that's the issue now. Holy shit. It's not her. It absolutely isn't her. It's an example of the bigger problem. And the problem, in my opinion, is that society tries to tell people, or many people try to tell other people and publish footage that you can actually transform your body, your physical body, within the space of a month. That is the issue, not that thumbnail. That is the issue. That is the deeper issue. Holy whoa. The reason why I think that's the deeper issue is because people then, if they actually consume that message and agree with that message, that it can be done, that you can completely transform your body and quote unquote get abs, even though you have them already, within the space of a month. Like that is the deeper issue. That is the deeper issue, not just somebody else making a deceptive thumbnail. The fact that people are being told that they can completely transform their body, or being led on to think that they can transform their body and quote unquote get abs, even though you have them already, within the space of 30 days, for the sake of SEO, to get some more clicks, is the issue. SEO means search engine optimization, by the way, and it increases your likelihood to get views, which therefore increases your likelihood to grow your channel at a faster rate. That's the deeper issue, if anything. Well, that's a deep realization, in my opinion, right? On that note, I'm going to see you in the next one. Hope you enjoyed and learned something valuable. Peace. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourselves, so don't suppress yourselves. Even if you experience short-term discomfort, remember that you're exchanging short-term discomfort in the now for long-term comfort. Remember that. I'll see you in the next one. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something valuable. Take care of yourselves. Don't suppress yourselves. And if you do that, you'll free yourself from most emotional incarceration and from years of physically pent up pain and mental pain. And on that note, I'll see you later, and you'll be able to transform your life. All right. Anyway, I'll see you later, and see you in the next one. Peace.